everyone, I'm Adriana, and today I want to talk to you about ring lights. So ring lights have become very popular with content creators on social media over the past decade. They've really popped up into everything from video to photography, and we see them all the time, even if we're not aware of it. So today I want to take you through the collection that we have available for checkout here at Studio 300, how to set up their controls, and then some tips and tricks about how to get the lighting right for your situation. So let's get started. All right, so the first kit I want to talk about is called the Dracast ring light kit. So this comes from a company that I very much like called Dracast. And it has quite a few lights with it and a few features that I really like. The only thing that this doesn't come with is a light stand, but we do have other light stands that you can check out so that you can take this and set it up in your home. So basically I've got it on a Dracast stand, and it's about an 18-inch circumference light. It also comes with a nifty little remote control that allows you to, brighten it or darken it, adjust the brightness settings. You can also adjust the color temperature settings, so I can go warmer, very warm, very orange, or I can go cooler, which is going to be almost violet. This is an LED light, so it doesn't produce a lot of heat, which is great. And as you can see, it has a cell phone attachment. I'm actually using the cell phone attachment here. So I'm going to show you the remote control right here. As you can see, I have the brightness adjustments right here, so up and down, and then I have the warmth or cooler, so the snowflake is going to be to cool down the light, and the little sun is going to be to warm up the light. You also have the ability to do some memory settings, so you have 3 memory buttons here, and then you also can just go, full cool, full warm, and then you have this like eco setting here. You can power down the light, so that turns it off. You can turn that back on. Ooh, very bright. So you can see, you would adjust the brightness, bring that down so that I don't look like I'm glowing. But it also has the same controls on the back, so I will take my cell phone and show you that on the back, but I wanted to show you what it looks like on basically skin. Forgive my hair, I should dye my hair. But yes, here we are, and you can set this up at home. Now this is removable, so the attachment for the cell phone is removable. So you can put in a camera here, so if you wanted to set up like a DSLR or something to that effect, you would just basically set it through the light at about the same height in the middle of the light. Set it up, get it to the settings that you want to use, your aperture setting, your shutter speed, and your ISO, and your white balance. Very important to white balance, and you're going to white balance after you set the light up. So with these lights, you do have some brightness, and you can adjust that brightness, but that also can be adjusted just simply by moving back. So this can cut down a lot of the light. As we know, the further you get away from light, you lose half as much light. So you're going to balance those things. You're going to balance how bright you want it to look, and then you're going to balance how far that light is from you. So if you've got it at the brightest setting and you are still kind of far away from it and it's dark, then that means you're going to have to adjust camera settings, and that may mean adjusting either your aperture or your shutter speed, or in most cases it may mean switching to a different lens. So keep that in mind for you DSLR content creators. Now the other thing that is wonderful about this kit is that it comes with an extra light. So you have this extra you know, off camera light that you can set up on a tripod. So this has like an attachment, but it's really for a cold shoe. So you would need like a couple different attachments to get it onto a light stand. So you would need the adapter for the light, and then you would need a cold shoe umbrella adapter for your light stand for it to fit. Or you can put this on like a little mini tripod. Those usually have the 1/4 inch threading that you need. Or a tripod, directly on a tripod, you can do that as well. So there's a couple different options for you to do. And this again has the same controls. So I'm going to show you in this camera. It has the control for our temperature. So just had to look at it. And then we can adjust how warm or how cool that light is. So you can see that it warms up or gets really, really yellow. And then we have brightness control, so that will, you know, make it look like I'm on the surface of the sun. Or you can bring it down all the way to, and that is 1%. So that's 1%, and that's 100%. So one of the reasons that this is great is that you can pop this in the back, or you can light up your background. So if you want to get a little bit of a hair light, not that I really want a hair light on that side, but you can get a little bit of a hair light here. Or if you need to light up your background, you can set this behind you and light up your background. So there's good uses for this light. It comes with 2 batteries, so that's great. So if you're going to be shooting for a long time, that's going to save you. This one comes with an AC attachment, but it also can use the same batteries that you have for the off-camera light. So I'm going to show you the controls on the back. I'm going to take my phone off of here. And this does fit like a fairly wide phone. My phone is a Note 10, and I've got the case on it. And even with the case, it did fit it. So it will fit some of those bigger phones. So I'm going to pop on this side and show you. All right, so here we are at the back controls for the Dracast light. And as you can see, we have our color temperature dial here, which will make things warmer or cooler. So as you go up to 56K, that is going to make things very cool. And as you go down to 27K, that's going to make things very warm. And then we have our brightness. So we can adjust the brightness here. Try to keep the camera as steady as possible. And you can see the percentage of how bright it is right there. So this kind of rotates all the way around, which is weird because they do have this little thing here, but that's how it is. And then you just have your power button here. You have USB adapter here, but you have the AC cord right here, right in front. And then here on the sides and back of the light, you do have the spaces where you can attach batteries. So if you are in a situation where you don't have power outlets near you, so if you're outdoors and you need some extra light, you can definitely use this one with the batteries. So that is one of the reasons why I really love this kit. It is a really fantastic kit. It's well put together, and it's actually fairly sturdy. One of the things that I like about this one is that it is very sturdy. The other thing I like about it, so I'm going to turn it around. Stop this video real quick. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to kind of point it at the camera. So you do have a knob here that allows you to kind of angle the light or keep it straight. And I'm going to bring this down so you could see. So one of the things that I really like is that you don't get the dots, so the dot matrix. There is a lot of LED lights in here, but they're bounced around in such a way that you get a solid ring. Whereas here, I'm going to turn this off. You may be able to see it, but you do see the dots a bit. And that can show up on camera sometimes. And it can show up in your eyes, especially when you are kind of shooting, it'll show up that way in your eyes. So, you know, careful with that. So we're gonna pop this off to the side. We're gonna bring in another light. So this one is one of the other big lights. This is, I believe, a 24-inch diameter. So it's a little bit bigger than the Draycast light. So let's get that there. This is from a company called Neewer, I think it's called. So it's Neewer. It comes with the light, and it actually comes with its own light stand, which is nice. But I feel like this light is quite a bit finicky. I had some issues getting it all set up together, and this barely fits the phone, honestly. It's a tight fit. The one thing I will say that I did not like is this attachment for the cell phone. It comes in two pieces, so it comes in a cold shoe mount plus a cell phone mount. So there's two different pieces that you have to put together to get this onto your stand, and it's very finicky. It's very tough getting it on there. I actually had to take the whole piece apart from the cold shoe mount to get it to fit here perfectly. But this is a little bit bigger than the Draycast light. It's a little bit slimmer in terms of its profile. And right off the bat, I see the lights, the little dot lights. So this has two different color lights in it. So it's got a set of warm lights and it's got a set of cool lights. I'm not sure how it shows up in this camera, but on here it shows up quite strong. So you have two dials, and it was kind of hard to understand because one dial, it looks like you have, first of all, oops, just kicked it, sorry. So first of all, you have an on and off button here on the side, which is very hidden. I had to kind of feel around to figure out where it was. And so this will turn it off and on. And then you have a dial that has W and C, which would mean warm and cool. And what this does is it only controls the warm light. So I didn't understand that part, because then you have a minimum maximum control on the other side, which I thought would control the brightness. But what it does is it controls the cool lights. So instead of having two controls that work kind of side by side, we have one control that works by brightening and darkening the warm set of lights, and then you have one that brightens and darkens the cool lights. So as you can see, that's all cool light, that's all turning white. And then we have this one that's just warm light, so it's kind of very orangey. And you can kind of pop those two on to get like a medium temperature. So I'm going to turn this around so it's facing me. I'm going to pop this up a little bit. The other thing is that the build quality isn't as nice as the Draycast. And because this comes on like a little ball head, it's a little bit tougher to get it adjusted the way that you want. And it shakes quite a bit, so that's one thing I didn't like. And then it has this knob here on the side to tilt the light forward or back, but it feels like you're gonna break the light, honestly. Like, I had to pop it and then it just started clicking. I didn't like that. So I would recommend making sure that you have a hand on this section and a hand on this section when you are adjusting the tilt of the light. And like I said, so you can go full bright like this, and then you can dim down to what you need. So very easy to control, and it's a full setup. So like I said, it comes with the AC plug, it comes with the light stand, the light itself. Doesn't have batteries, so you can't use this outdoors without a power source. So that's a downside to that. I love that the Draycast uses the batteries, which is great. But you know, all in all, in a pinch, this will do. It's a very inexpensive kit. So if you're looking for inexpensive lighting for your home for doing video work, this is definitely the way to go. The Dracast is not as expensive as you may think. But it is a little more expensive. It does come in its own zipper case, so everything fits in there. And then you would just check this out, take it home, give it a test drive, and then see if it's the right light for you. So let's move on to a different light. The last light is a small light for tabletops, which is going to work really great for those of you that like to do makeup tutorials. So let's go over to the table. I'm going to kind of set things up a little bit different. And then after that, I'll give you some tips and tricks about setting up the light in the right position for yourself. Okay, see you in a moment. Okay, so here we are with the last of the lights that I want to talk about today, which is another light by Dracast. This light in particular is a small light, so it's something that you would use more for table work like crafting or makeup tutorials or just basic interviews and things like that, where you're just going to be using either your cell phone camera. You can put another like video camera through here. I wouldn't recommend using this with like a DSLR and, you know, depending on the lens type, because of the fact that you actually have to be kind of close. So here, this light is a little weird. I was like, oh, how do you work these controls? They're actually slide controls. So this actually has these like slider controls that you can use your finger. So it's a touch thing. And then like this one controls how warm or how cool the light is. So you can just kind of use your finger to slide back and forth through the controls. So they are, you know, touch based, which I found kind of weird and funky, but it's cool. They work. On the front is the power button, and it is also a touch button. So there we go. It's a little, you know, finicky to get the control, like turning it off, and there you go. Now I've got it right. And then as you can see, the slide controls work fairly well. They do the job, but this is as bright as it gets. So this is not super bright like the other two. So this is definitely for close-up work. Either you're going to set this on a tripod, which this comes only with a ball head attachment, so you definitely have to put it on like a tripod. I'm using a tabletop tripod right now, but you can put it on like a regular standard tripod. And then if you have like a lateral arm, you can flip this so you can do something like crafting, or you can do like makeup tutorials or hair tutorials or things like that. So this is definitely more for close-up work. You don't want to be using this for you know, situations where you're going to be further from the camera than I'd say about 2-3 feet maximum. Otherwise you're going to need additional lighting. I actually have this one still going down here, so I'll kind of move this to the side. So you can see this is, I'm only being lit by, well, I'm being lit by the other lights too, but I'm only being lit by this one here. And you know, here in the cell phone, you can definitely see the ring light. Since you're so close up to it, you can definitely see the ring light reflected in the eyes. From this camera, I'm not sure until I get this onto the computer how it looks, if you can see the ring light in my eyes. So I'm going to take the cell phone attachment is the same as for the bigger Dracast, so it works the same way, and it fit my phone perfectly. As the newer, when I tried to take my phone off, it actually tried to take my case off, so it's a lot tighter than this one and the other Dracast. So I would say that preferably I like the attachments for the cell phone on the Dracast. This one is also removable, so if I wanted to use a different type of camera, I can do that. So I am going to pop this off so you can see the controls real quick. Turn my camera around. So here at the front, you can see, I'm gonna see, this is my brightness, so let's slide this down so it's kind of off. So here you can see we have the brightness, and basically I'm just using my finger and sliding back and forth to adjust the brightness. So I'm just going to adjust it a little bit. Here's the power button, so that turns it off, turns it on, a little finicky. And then again we have the coolness and warmth slider, so I'll make it very warm. As you can see, it's very orangey, and then we go this way and it's very cool, almost violet blue, very Tron looking. Very cool little light. I really like it. Here we have the cell phone attachment, as you can see, definitely giving me Tron vibes. One thing to note is this actually folds. So if you don't want to use the whole thing, you can actually just use, you know, that, or if you're lighting two different sides, that will actually work. I will say that it is a little bit looser than I would like. I would like this to be a little bit more sturdy, but I mean, it does have its uses. You can actually do things a little bit differently with this light because of this feature. Dracast makes some great lighting, honestly. I really enjoy their lights, and I think they are amazing lights to work with. So that is going to conclude this video. Some tips and tricks that I would say about using these lights is, first of all, get yourself situated. Make sure you're framed in your frame the way that you want to be framed. If you're going to be in the center like I am right now, then make sure that you have your light positioned in that way. If you're going to be offside, then that's going to make things a little bit more difficult. Ring lights are really made to do head-on lighting like this. So basically it's going to be really head-on. The one thing that you will notice, especially with the bigger lights, is that because you are lighting yourself this way, depending on how close you are to your background, you will create this like halo of shadow right behind you. So your shadow is going to be like right behind you. So one thing I would say is that if you're going to be using these types of lights, but you don't want, and you're going to be very close to the background, you know, if you've got a very small recording space, then you're going to want to add some light in the back to the background so that you don't get that harsh shadow. That's all going to depend on how close you are to the background. But if you want to eliminate those shadows, then definitely pop a light behind you to light up that background. It also works to kind of give you some different color temperatures. So like, for example, this is very basic, very plain lighting. But if I wanted to make it interesting, I can pop like two different color lights back here, maybe one in a very cool tone and one in a warm tone, and then just kind of have them in the background to create an interesting effect. It actually separates you from the background as well. So those are things that you can do even with the ring light. The other thing that I would say to consider is the catch lights. So catch lights are how your eyes reflect lighting. Because these have a very distinct look, the closer you are to the light, like you'll see in the video that I recorded off my cell phone using this ring light, because I'm very close to it, it's very pronounced in my pupil. So you need to consider that when using these. You don't have to use them head on. You don't. You can actually bounce these lights off the ceiling, you can bounce them off the walls, you can bounce them off bounce cards, whatever you want to do. You can create different looks with these lights. You can do the straight on ring light, or you can use them to bounce the light around the space and just create a different look for yourself. But all in all, they're very versatile lights. They work really great, and they will take your video and make it look amazing once you get the settings set up for yourself in your lighting situation. Don't forget to white balance once you've set the light to what you like. Make sure you white balance, because as you change the color temperature, your camera's not going to realize it. So make sure you learn how your camera white balances and then do so. So hope that you learned some things today, and I hope that you guys come in and check out a ring light and show off what you can do and what content you could create and post it on social media. See you next time.